All right, so as you can see from this first night report, NBC Channel 4 made a point to take an innocent marketing approach and try to make it appear to be something sinister. Yet if you paid careful attention to what their expert had to say, the only thing their expert accused AMCO centers of doing was jumping the gun. Now, it would have been nice for me to be able to go to Channel 4 and their investigative reporter and explain to that reporter that our shops did absolutely nothing wrong and that our shops followed the brand standard that they're trained and instructed to follow in dealing with a check engine light check request. But the simple fact of the matter is that 6 out of the 7 centers that Channel 4 visited did not follow AMCO procedures. So even though what the shops did was innocent and was simply a shortcut of AMCO procedures, it's not something we could properly defend. Even though in some cases the shops made the right recommendation. For example, one shop in Silver Spring opened the hood, found the disconnected wire, and recommended simply replacing the wire. They made the right recommendation, but only after charging the customer on a free check offer. Likewise, the shop in Bear, Delaware, they offered 2 hours of diagnostic time to analyze the problem, but again, even Bear, Delaware didn't offer to open the hood and look to see if they could find the obvious problem. In fact, 4 out of 7 of the shops, more than half the shops, made a service recommendation without ever opening the hood at all. So while they didn't follow procedures and while the shops didn't do anything unethical or illegal, the broadcast clearly makes it appear that the shops are doing something unprofessional and at worst, they're dishonest. We believe that we could have avoided more of the negative press if more of our AMCO centers in the Washington-Baltimore pool had simply followed procedures and done what AMCO centers are charged to do, a basic level 1 MPI. As bad as the reporting appeared to be on the air, the good news is that we had an opportunity as an organization, as a team, to address the report and put a plan into action to mitigate the adversity that the report presented. So in June, when we first learned that Channel 4 was contacting AMCO centers about their investigation, we hired a crisis management public relations firm outside of the AMCO organization and with experience in dealing with these kinds of matters to give us some guidance on how to deal with Channel 4. We also worked with the folks at Corvus. Corvus is a public relations strategy company and a social media monitoring agency that works very closely with AMCO centers in the Washington-Baltimore pool and whom we've had a lot of experience. So right out of the gate, we decided to get as much expertise as we possibly could involved in helping direct and assist us in a strategy to approach Channel 4. We retained outside counsel as well. In fact, one of the attorneys that we put on the team is a former chairman for the Federal Trade Commission and who has a lot of experience in dealing with advertising regulations and accusations of false or misleading advertising. And Bill McLeod now is a permanent member of our team, advising and assisting us as we go forward. We contacted NADA. In fact, many of the people involved were involved with NADA and NADA's counsel in advising both AMCO corporate and our strategy firms on suggestions and advice on how to deal with the upcoming and impending broadcast. And then we reached out to Channel 4 as well. Now, you should understand that the investigative reporter in Washington really didn't reach out to AMCO at all. She reached out to AMCO franchisees, and only after many months of investigation of their shops and their customers. I got a call from a number of the shops when they were notified or heard about the report, and so I called Channel 4 and I spoke to the reporter and decided that the best approach would be to educate and instruct the reporter on how we do business and what the customer experience at AMCO ought to be. So we had multiple contacts, a number of correspondence through emails and letters, and a determination was also made not to engage in an on-air interview. One thing we did agree to do right at the outset was remove the check engine light advertising promotion for the time being. We communicated that immediately to the reporter. In fact, she took a great sense of pride in being able to broadcast that she single-handedly got the promotion off the air. But we told her that we would review it, that we would meet with our franchisees in the pool and discuss the promotion with them, their customer service managers, and their technicians, and that we would revisit the promotion after sufficient training and instruction and guidance had occurred. And in fact, that's what we did. You should know that the free check offer went back on the air within a week or two after the broadcast, and it's been a very productive and successful offer, even in light of the negative publicity. While the promotion was off the air, however, we determined that the best approach would be to put a positive release and a positive announcement on the air about AMCO Center's association with the Veterans Purple Heart campaign, and that was a stopgap promotion to try to offset some of the negative. Another thing we did as a reaction to adverse publicity, and what we always do in the face of adverse publicity, is get key message points out both to the media and to our own center employees, so that everybody is speaking the same message about the advantages and benefits of AMCO. One thing we want people to understand is that after 50 years in the automotive repair business, we believe we're doing a lot of things right. We happen to be a great automotive service providing organization, but obviously nobody is perfect, and we acknowledged that the report pointed out some of our imperfections. Still great though. We reminded the TV station that the training and support we provide our franchisees and their teams is second to none and is as good as any you'll find in the automotive aftermarket. We also wanted Channel 4 to understand that the advertising message of the check engine light promotion was a clear message, that it was a full disclosure, and that the point of the message was to let consumers know that they have many options and choices, and that no work is done on a vehicle until the customer agrees to have work done for a specific amount of money. We think the TV shoppings and the report you just saw demonstrated that our centers pretty much do what our ads say they're going to do. That is, in the check engine light promotion, we retrieve the codes, we explain to the customer what codes we found, and there's no charge to do it. Full and complete disclosure. With regard to the transmission side of the business, that came up in the second night. Channel 4 conducted a couple of interviews with some unhappy transmission consumers and made a point about the number and extent of customer complaints associated with AMCO to regulatory agencies in the market. We don't deny that. What we've explained to Channel 4 and others is that transmission repairs are the most complicated and costly types of automotive services, and as a result, it's more likely that a transmission repair consumer will be the one to contact a regulatory agency over any other. And we think that explains why you hear about AMCO Center customers to regulatory agencies. We wanted the Channel 4 folks to know, though, that we are committed to customer satisfaction. Each of the customers that they interviewed on the second night's broadcast were consumers that we knew about, that we offered to help, and in fact, you would see in the second broadcast that we even released a car that had been sitting for over a year at an Ampco center in Maryland at the customer's request, even though the customer paid no money. So those are message points every Ampco dealer should know about. We shared them with the group in Washington and Baltimore. We sent out alerts in advance of the broadcast, as we always would do in the face of an impending TV report. But ultimately, what it comes down to is that it's imperative that each shop, every employee, understand what our brand standards are, what our procedures require of us, and that we follow Ampco procedures consistently across the board with every customer. The fact is, you never know when the next customer walking in your door is a TV reporter or a news producer.